Hello and welcome to the Untitled channel, and today I want to take an updated look at the Radeon RX 5600 XT now that a 14 gigabits per second memory update is available on majority of those models as a BIOS update. Now if you click the title of this video and you're like, but wait, you put in the title that it's a 1080p 144Hz gaming graphics card for under $300. Aren't you going to talk about that? And yes, I will, because I do think it is a decent candidate for fulfilling that role. Yet there are a few things beyond just the gaming performance of this card I do want to cover, especially in comparison to its main rival, the RTX 2060. For some reason, despite being the more expensive option, the RTX 2060, from what I've seen in my comment sections on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, have pointed out that that card is still somehow preferred over this cheaper option right here, that being the 5600 XT. So I wanted to do a more deeper dive beyond just the gaming performance of this card in comparison to that, to see what's the big deal and maybe see what could possibly change now with 14 gigabits per second available on models like these, as well as 12 gigabits per second models that didn't have that BIOS update originally. So in this review video, I'm going to be taking a look at the pricing and availability, and then get into the features and usability, and close out with some gaming benchmarks and value analysis, along with the conclusion, all while compared to the RTX 2060 and a 12 gigabits per second RX 5600 XT that I received back in January without any modifications, to see if the memory update is actually that much of a boost. So if you enjoy value-oriented graphics card review videos, you may want to consider subscribing to this channel, because that is kind of what we're about. We're about making sure you get the most bang for your buck, but of course, you probably want to make your judgment after watching this whole video before deciding on that. And quick note, this graphics card you do see here today from Sapphire was sent to me from AMD. However, that is it. There have been no sponsorships or tamperings beyond that for this review video. So what you hear today are basically my thoughts on this graphics card and its current state in the PC gaming world for 2020. And now a quick word from our sponsor. If you're looking for an inexpensive Windows 10 Pro key for under $15, then I would take a look at VIPsadkey.com. You can grab one of their keys, like a Windows 10 Pro key, in a matter of minutes. Use my discount code VIPscatter for a percentage off your order, and get that key loaded up on your computer that is unactivated, and finally remove that ugly watermark in the bottom right of your monitor and have an activated Windows experience. And from my end, I have purchased at least 12 keys with my own money from their website without VIP SCD key knowing, and so far all those keys have worked. And within those PCs that I've had here in my studio, none of them have encountered any issues as far as the legitimacy of those keys. So I can vouch that, at least for me, those keys have worked. So I'll have a link to the website at the top of the description, along with my discount code. Now, pricing and availability. So I'm going to start with the 5600 XT, which right now, this exact model you see here on screen retails for $290, but I've seen them go as low as $282, specifically regarding the 14 gigabits per second model, which is the one we want to use because of that updated, faster memory speed. But now looking at the RTX 2060, this graphics card can actually retail for as low as $300 with EVGA's KO model on Newegg and Amazon. However, disregarding that model, they're usually about $320 to $340 on Amazon and Newegg. But when it comes to availability, the 5600 XT is the more available card in terms of stock, because you can order any right now from Amazon and Newegg, and they will ship out in a timely manner. Whereas with the RTX 2060, and more specifically the EVGA KO model, which I bet a lot of you watching this video are looking into, on Amazon it's currently back ordered, and on Newegg it just came back in stock, but last week I did check it and it was out of stock, or just at least back ordered. But now, what about the respective features and usability? Well, for that, first I want to mention that both of these cards have their own anti-screen tearing technologies. Like with the 5600 XT, it supports FreeSync, along with the RTX 2060, because yes, you can use NVIDIA graphics cards for an AMD FreeSync. And also, of course, with the RTX 2060, you do have G-Sync as an available option. However, the elephant in the room that we've been ignoring for this whole review so far is the RTX 2060 superior NVENC encoder, which will be really useful if you're looking to get into serious Twitch streaming. And I emphasize serious, because for a gaming graphics card, the 5600 XT has its own built-in encoder, that being the AMF encoder, but it pales in comparison to what NVIDIA offers for just a few dollars more. Which personally, in my opinion, if you are sticking one of these graphics cards up with a 6-core Intel or Ryzen processor, you can use the X264 CPU-based encoder and still yield some really good results for your stream. But I mean, for a gaming graphics card, you'd probably want the faster graphics card to allow you to game at your full capacity. So that's where I think the NVENC encoder is just a little bit overrated, unless you're doing serious Twitch streaming, like what I've done recently on my own Forza Horizon 4 streams on my Twitch channel, where I have a lot of scenes, graphics, effects, audios, and alerts all going off at once while I'm streaming at a really high quality at 1440p, then downscaling to 1080p. And really extreme scenarios like that, where you have pretty much a set production going for your stream and you want to yield the best results for your viewers, that's where NVENC is really going to shine. But otherwise, I think an amateur encoder like X264 with a gaming graphics card like this will do just fine. But that being said though, this card does have an encoder, that being the AMF encoder, and it is not as good as NVENC. But do I think it's a deal breaker? No. Unless, like I said, you're a serious Twitch streamer. Now, another thing I do want to point out is that AMD has had kind of a spree of driver issues as of starting this year with the RX 5700 XT. Now, personally, from my end, I've owned the 5700 XT, 5700, and this card, the 5600 XT and the 5500 XT, and I have not encountered any driver issues so far since January. However, there are users online who have reported their own stability issues with their respective cards. So while I haven't personally encountered any issues, that is something to keep in mind because NVIDIA has a cleaner track record as far as their driver support and stability goes versus AMD. And now we've reached the benchmarks, and I just want to let you know again that I'm benchmarking the RX 5600 XT 14 gigabit, 12 gigabit, and RTX 2060 graphics cards, all for this review video. So one, you can see how well this card does versus its main competition, and seeing if that 14 gigabits per second memory speed is of any actual notice versus the slower 12 gigabits per second memory speeds on a lot of 5600 XTs that came out originally at the beginning of this year that weren't as fast as far as memory speeds go. Now, with all that said, here are the benchmarks. Okay, conclusion time. So first of all, the 5600 XT is the faster graphics card. The 5600 XT also is the more value-oriented card, scoring a higher frames per dollar than the RTX 2060. And that 14 gigabits per second memory speed does firmly slot it above the RTX 2060 as far as gaming performance goes. If you own a 12 gigabits per second model RX 5600 XT and you want more performance, go ahead and check up AMD's websites for the BIOS update instructions for each of the different 5600 XTs out there and get yourself that extra performance. But there is a slight caveat. Depending on the model of 5600 XT, like say for example, if you have this Gigabyte model that I have here on reviews, it's not the best as far as cooling goes. So I would like to point out that if you are considering that memory update, I just make sure that your card can support it as far as cooling goes, because running at that faster memory speed is going to produce more heat, which more heat in your PC can be a bad thing. So just make sure your card can support it in the first place if you are going to do that update. Or you can just skip all that hassle and get a card like this Sapphire one here that already comes with that 14 gigabits per second memory speed out of the box. And in the end, my only complaint, as with the majority of these Navi 7nm AMD GPUs, that is the only thing that's really holding me back from truly recommending them in the majority of my gaming PC builds, despite their superior performance for the money, is that I just wish they would nail that feature of the AMF encoder and bring it close to the NVENC encoder. And as far as gaming goes, it is the better graphics card. But as far as the overall buy, there's a lot of people out there who still consider the NVENC encoder and are just like, oh, I think I have a shot at becoming the next Ninja. Even though it's not gonna happen, they at least just want that possibility in their minds when choosing out a $300 graphics card. And AMD, if you can just nail that AMF encoder and really work on it, especially with the efficient 7nm architecture that you have here with Navi, I think you'll have just the superior graphics card in general, not just when it comes to the gaming performance and the value, but finally, as far as the extra features and stability goes. But for those of you who don't have any aspirations at all to stream, or don't even want to show your face to other people online on a Twitch or Mixer stream, this graphics card right here is going to be faster and cheaper for your money. So that is it for my Radeon RX 5600 XT review video, and if you enjoyed it, you might want to subscribe, because if you enjoyed it, then you liked it, which means you want to see more of it, right? I mean, it's just kind of common knowledge right there. But if you want to become a super fan, I do have a Twitter, Instagram, Discord, TikTok, and Twitch. You can all follow. You can choose which flavor you want to follow, or you can just go with all of them if you're really crazy. And by the way, my TikTok is not cringe. Just want to point that out there. It's even mentioned in the bio, but I have all those extra social medias down there if you want to become more involved with this YouTube channel. Anyways, that is it for my review video. Thank you so much for watching, and this is the Untitled channel signing out.